Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Morning, good afternoon, or good evening, race fans, wherever you are watching, and welcome once again to season number 3. It's the TGR Nation Grand Prix Series, and we go to Rudskogen, last season's finale, now round 3 of the season in Norway. It's not bright and white, it is green and clear. I'm Alexa Marshall, joined by Tristan Herbst. Our producer in the background for the first ever time here is Aidan Howard. And Tristan, we have definitely got an interesting race coming into this one as free practice looks to be on the board. But Zach and Gianni have already kicked this season off with a bang between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen the two of them have quite a rivalry up and down between the past two rounds. And so heading into round number 3, it is going to be interesting to see what they can do. We've seen lots of swapping between the two of Lutsu and Rattray White. Obviously, Zach carrying that reigning championship status from the previous 2 seasons, coming in here for the 3rd time to see if he can top it off yet again. But Gianni looks like he's got a little bit more time on his hands to be a little bit more present in Season 3. He obviously missed a couple of rounds in Season 2, which is predominantly why we saw such a dominating figure there from Zach Rattray White. And so it's actually great to see Gianni here and ready to pose a little bit more of a threat to Rattray White. We're going into round number 3, Rudskogen Motor Center. If you've never raced it before, it is one of the more interesting tracks to race, as you can see it on the track map in front of you. It is not a plain Jane race yet today, and the Formula Vs are sure to provide us quite a lot of entertainment around such a track like this.
Yeah, and I'm going to correct ourselves real quick here. It's actually round 4. Apologies about that. Me and Tristan had a week off. So thank you to Jim and Adam for covering us last week, but it's actually round 4 now, so we have missed one of the rounds, unfortunately. But it's 19-degree track temperature, 18-degree ambient at the current moment, 7 minutes left here in free practice. Zach Rattray White leads with a 1 minute 36.977, followed by Gianni Lutsu and then Thomas D. Fleming. But as we continue around here, this is the interesting part I want to look at, because you've got so many drivers around this circuit. We're very similar to what we saw at the end of last season, Tristan. And we know what happened at turn number 1 then, with those crashes that we saw. Personally, I hope that we don't see a repeat tonight, but with a field like this, you never know what's going to happen when they're constantly battling no matter what lap it is.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, like you mentioned, we saw a little bit of it last season, as this was our season closing race at Rudskogen, and so now coming in at round number 4, it's definitely going to be an interesting one going into turn number 1. We've got a lot of fierce competition out here, and unfortunately, the Formula V, although it is a beginner-friendly car and it comes with your base iRacing subscription, it does prove to be a little bit tricky, especially when you aren't in full focus mode. And so when it comes down to something like T1, you've got about 20 cars, it looks like tonight, coming down into one pinnacle corner, trying to make it all around as fast as possible. It does get a little bit tight, and we might unfortunately see a little bit of contact. It's nothing new here at the TGR Nation Grand V, just due to our car and track choices, but it does still provide a lot of action. So keep your eyes peeled as we head down to turn number 1. It is a very technical track, as we've already spoken about, and so the drivers have had to shift that mindset from going from what we saw last season. I mean, some ovals, some dirt, and now obviously we've been predominantly on the asphalt this season throughout the first 4 rounds, but Rudskogen will prove a little bit more of a challenge from what we've seen throughout the rest of the rounds. I mean, obviously it was our finale last round, as we have a couple more drivers getting those lap times up on the board. But very good point to talk about is that T1 drama, because I think indeed it is going to be a bit spicy for this race.
And Gianni Lutsu is going to go to the top there, so that is nothing too bad for him. 1 minute 36.773 for Gianni in that purple car. So he's been having quite a good season so far, it seems. He's been here a lot more than last season, so Zach really has to keep his wits about him, as his closest competitor is right on his tail, it seems. So as they do continue around this circuit with 5 minutes left in free practice, the way I'm looking at this is, how do they develop through the season? Because surely they're going to be learning a bit more about each other, and they're going to be looking to get past each other. And of course, like we said, we've got Rudskogen tonight, but let's go through the rest of the calendar here, because on the 8th of November we go to Virginia International Raceway South. We then go to the Charlotte Infield long version on the 15th of November. It's then Okayama on the 22nd, Alton Park Island on the 29th. Then to kick off December, we go to Tsukaba Moto with Wild West Motorsport Park on the 13th, Lime Rock Chicanes on the 20th, and then Laguna Seca on the 27th. So we've got a lot more asphalt this season than we did last, as we had a few ovals, but especially this first half, there there is a lot more tarmac, so that's really going to change the driver's strategy coming and looking at the season as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at next round as well, VR South, it's another track which we saw last season in season number 2. It's we've got quite a couple of replicas being pulled from previous season just because of how well they worked with the Formula V. And I mean, I don't know if you can remember, Alex. I mean, VR South in itself was quite a chaotic race as well. Lots of dive bombs being made that were a little bit too late, if you had to ask me. And we saw quite a lot of incidents being rendered over there. And so that's coming up again next week on the 8th of November. So very interesting. We've got Tsukuba here, Okayama's here, Alton Park is also here. And so lots of interesting races that can be a little bit tricky in the Formula V. Like I mentioned already, it is meant to be that easier car. But if you've been watching with us from season 2 up until season 3, we've gone through quite a lot of details in this car and how it actually drives. And it's not the more ordinary car that you'd kind of drive. I mean, 296 kilograms, it's relatively light. The gearbox is positioned all the way at the backside. You can actually see it in most camera angles. It's that tiny little metallic circular box just at the rear side of that Formula V. And so it does mean sometimes you can get hit into neutral if you have a bit of an incident. We've seen that before as well in the TGR Nation Grand V, and oftentimes we see nose to gearbox action because, as you can see, the Formula Vs do not have any form of spoilers or downforce advancements on the front or rear. So very tricky car. The braking and gearing, like we've also spoken about, is very different to what you'd normally see. First gear is practically a no man's land. If you try take first gear coming into a corner, you're probably going to be facing backwards just due to how the gearbox ratios work. You will most probably end up spinning that car just with how the speed and everything works. So it's a bit of a technical one, and the drivers really have to position themselves in the correct way to drive this car. This is no GT3. This is no Formula 4 that's got nice sequential gearing. It does get a little bit clanky in that cockpit. And so that's exactly what proves to be a challenge. But flashback to where we are tonight. We've already spoken a bit about Rudskogen and its technicalities, but with about 1 minute left of practice, it looks like the drivers are slowly starting to hone in on that comfortability.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to keep it in third and fourth, you're gonna be pretty comfortable throughout the season and throughout the race. Really, you hardly ever change it. We've seen a few drivers in the earlier rounds drop it down to second, but that always ends up with the same result: the car going round. And you were talking about incidents. This is the thing with this car as well. If you get into a contact, you very rarely will spew off to the side and off the circuit. These cars, they are very centralized. So if you spin, you will be going around in a circle and not really moving that much. So that's realistically going to be the hard part. Try not to get into the contact, because if you spin whilst in the middle of the circuit, you may have already had initial contact, but there could be secondary or third damage that could get picked up, which at the end of the day will end up ruining your race. I mean, you've got a 30-minute race to think about with a qualifying session just beforehand. Of course, only 3 qualifying laps allowed per driver. But this is Thomas D. Fleming. Haven't really seen him much, but we never know with free practice. Maybe an indicator, may not be sometimes. But he is pretty close to Zach, only being about 2 tenths behind, as the practice session is going to come to an end here. Of course, we're on the full configuration here. 1.96 miles of a circuit length, 19 degrees Celsius is the temperature. 348 feet above sea level as well. So as we get into the qualifying session, it is going to be green, green, green for the drivers, and we've got qualifying to come our way. You know what? Let's get your predictions for this one, Tristan.
So qualifying is going to be a bit of a tight one because obviously you just mentioned a bit of a new name there, Thomas D. Fleming, which I frankly haven't seen either. I'm not too sure if he appeared last week while we were away. Haven't seen his name. I haven't seen Lachlan D. Robinson either. So a couple of new guys coming in to oppose as a bit of a threat here. And I mean, like we already saw, Thomas D. Fleming getting really close there. Getting really close there to Zach Rattray White's time in that practice session. Obviously, practice doesn't exactly correlate to the qualifying, and qualifying is going to be completely independent of what we've just seen. But if that has anything to show for, we could be seeing something coming from Thomas D. Fleming. So here's my prediction for top 3. I'm predicting that Lutzu is going to take that top podium spot. I have a feeling he's got the comfortability around here. He's obviously, he's got Lutzu driver performance. He is the kind of top charter that we're expecting. I think Zach's going to take second, and then I'm going to slot that Thomas D. Fleming into third position on that podium, just as a little bit of a new variable, just to see what he can do up there. and the rest can form. I think Sean Gapinski is going to be up there in the top 5, maybe. Maybe we might see someone like Sully Khan, who's also had quite a good season so far, somewhere maybe up in the top 5. But only time is going to tell. And like we already mentioned, Rudskogen is a little bit different on your normal track layout. It does test all the limits of that Formula V. So keep your eyes peeled, but that's my top 5 prediction. What about you, Alexa?
I mean, either way you look at it, it is going to be a tight one at the end of the day because, yes, you can get Gianni and Zach up there choosing the opportunities and getting to the top like we usually see, but as you see on the bottom of your screen, if you're new to iRacing, the little boxes with the colours do indicate how fast everybody's going. Purple is session fastest, green is personal fastest, yellow is no improvement. But already looking at the field, we've got quite a few improvements coming along with the fastest sectors. I am going to be looking at Matthias Marin because the amount of times that we watch him, also to Rob Wright and Alan Degassis, maybe you saw Christian Flagg in there. There are some underdogs in this who are, I wouldn't say full underdogs, but can really be in the positions if they need to and they take full advantage and something happens. So, call me crazy, but I'm going to predict Matthias Marin is going to be at least in the top 3 here, so first or second row.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty good prediction, and it throws a bit of a spanner into the works of what we normally see. I mean, personally, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a little bit of a change up in our top spots, because for the time being, as we've known from the season, it has been a bit of a dominating show from Lutzu as well as Rattray White. Nathan Maroney is also usually there, but I don't actually see his name yet tonight. That's the person's name I was looking for when I was trying to predict, and I couldn't see his name on the leaderboard on that timings tower, and so that's why I didn't call him out. But I wonder where Maroney is tonight, because he's also been a bit of a threat to our top 3, and unfortunately looks like he's not going to make it yet tonight. So we'll just have to see what the rest of the drivers can do, but looks like Rattray White is currently on a bit of a fast lap. We'll have to see what he can pull. We'll get the timings tower up for you shortly on the left-hand side of your screen. Just unfortunately, nobody has set a decent enough lap time. Chris Lim comes across to maybe set the first lap time of the day, and indeed he does. It's a 1:38.0. Rob Wright will come in just behind, 2/10 behind him. And there we go. Thomas D. Fleming, 37.2 as he comes up into the P1 slot. Sean Gapinski gets himself up there. Rattray White now tops it off 1/10 faster than Fleming, and it's not a lot faster than Fleming. So like you mentioned, Alexa, we might be seeing him threaten that top 3 spot from the practice session. Robinson also gets himself up there, 5/10 off though from the fastest time. So lots of the drivers now getting those qualifiable lap times in that are actually legitimate and not in your track limit. Gianni Lutzu gets it up there now with a 1:37.1. So 2/24 thousandths, or that's 2/400ths of a second split between Rattray White and Lutzu. So 4 minutes into qualifying, and it's already getting interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's quarter of a tenth. So the only difference there is realistically going to be how much grass you might have touched, because that's really close between the top 2, like we always see, as Sartori is going to go slowest so far with the lap times on the board. There is Zen Carr, he will go to the line, and that will put him P number 9. However, we will say this, top 7 currently, all within a second of that top. So one improvement, one extra corner where you maybe take a different line, that is going to bump you up the order, as Hanley goes P number 10 currently, 1.599 off the top time. Sully Khan is going to go P number 5. Personally, I do see Sully Khan a lot, but it seems to be the story that has just grasped his every race. He will be in the top 5, top 6 when it comes down to qualifying, but then about halfway through, he will end up getting involved in an incident in the race, which will put him down the order. So, realistically, as Borowski goes P number 4, if there's anybody who could possibly have a surprise tonight, it is going to be Sully Khan. If he can stay out of those incidents, because we did see how good he was here in the season finale last time round.
Yeah, and I mean, we've also seen him pick up a little bit at the start of this season. Not too sure which it was. If we missed round 3, it was probably round 2 that we watched him. He also had a great race at that track. And so very, very keen to see what Sully Khan can do throughout the rest of the season, because like we just saw on that calendar, there is still quite a lot of races ahead of us here, with just only being at round number 4. So lots and lots of time for drivers to make those improvements. If one race, V strikes yet again to get himself up into that top 10, Hanley will come across. It's all greens, and it means it's an improvement. And indeed, up to 11th he goes with a 138.2. So just a little bit further behind, outside of the top 10 now. Degas is coming around, and unfortunately it is yellow, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. So slower in two of the sections as he comes through now, of just about to finish his lap. It's not going to be an improvement, and 8th is where he should sit, still remaining in this next 7 minutes of qualifying. We do have Scott Brooks coming across the line just about now. Daniel Taylor will also come across. Will it be an improvement? Brooks gets a bit of an improvement. Will Taylor get that improvement? It does look to be a little bit faster throughout most of the sectors, but not enough to bump him up. Thomas Fleming, though, is purple. What's it going to be for Fleming? It does look like an improvement, and oh my goodness, up into P1 for Thomas Fleming, 136.9. The first driver now to break into the 36s, and Rattray White now coming across. He does have one purple, but it's mixed with a couple of yellows. Will it be enough to get him up there into that P1 slot? Just not enough. 800ths of a second from Fleming. My goodness, Alexa, this is going to be a good race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we've already got Fleming up there. He is looking to dethrone what many may consider the meta and what many may consider the norm here in TGR Nation Grand V. Lutsu right now trying to make his way through. Just over 2 minutes left in this qualifying session. Now 2 minutes left as we come towards the end of it. We got Lutsu, who's trying to make his way through just under 2/10 currently, but he is on 2 purples. He's got 1 green. Can he get another purple? He will come to the line. Gianni Lutsu goes to pole position on 36.758. That is no surprise from what we've seen him in form this season. So it is really a fight up there within that top three. Lutsu, Fleming, Rattray White, all vying for that top position. Flag now trying to break into that less than a second, trying to get up to P number 9. His fellow American, Sean Gapinski, currently sits P number 7. Flag is down in Sector 1, up in Sector 2. How's Sector 3 going to be? It's a personal improvement for him through that. Can he get even faster through this final sector? Sector number 4 on the little timings. Through the right-hander now, 136.758 seemed to be is the current fastest lap time. What's he going to set here? Curly sits P number 9, going to come to the line, and he's going to be in P number 9 still. In fact, no, he's going to get up to P number 8 as it corrects itself. Now getting into that 1 second to the top. That's going to bump him up right between Alan Degassis and Sean Gapinski. Here is Sully Khan. He is down currently in his first and second sectors. Sector 3 may be an improvement for him, but is it going to be enough? No, it's not. It's even down for him. So he is not having the night that he would have hoped for, I would say. Seems to be the only driver currently still out there. Personal improvement actually in sector number 3 as it's changed from yellow. So now he's going to come through the right-hander. Going to go to the line here. Is he going to get another lap time in? Will it be an improvement? It does not be. It is the slowest, and it's slower by a second across the entirety of the lap. Only Sector 3 was an improvement for him. And with 10 seconds on the clock, that is going to be that.
Yeah, I mean, what a great qualifying session. Gianni Lutsu obviously taking the final spot there of P1 on the podium spot, and just dethroning Thomas Fleming, who looked to have confirmed his seat here for starting P1 in this race, but just not enough. Rattray White will also just be outside on the final edge of that podium. But looking at our standings now, Gianni Lutsu will start P1 for this race. Thomas Fleming in second with Zach Rattray White in third. Lachlan D. Robertson will take fourth with Adrian Borowski in fifth. Sully Khan will take sixth position. Sean Gapinski coming in at seventh. Christian Flagg from Apollo Racing in eighth with Alan Degassis in ninth. Chris Lim in 10th position with Matthias Marin in 11th. Zenkar in 12th.
On the P number 13, it's Neil Hanley, followed by Rob Wright, Rodrigo Tostes, Scott Brooks, Michael Thiessen, Daniel Taylor, Martin Visser, Diori Satori, Kirk Stanley, and then Alex Boo Bear Bradley sits P number 22 here at Rudskogen. That is the grid. 22 drivers will look to go racing here. It's round number 4, waiting for one more driver. That's going to be Fleming to get onto that grid, and then we are ready to go racing. Last time round, it was a season finale. Here, it's the 4th race of the season. It is looking tighter and tighter in that top fight, but here at Rudskogen, for another race tonight, all eyes will now go to the gantry lights as we get ready for this race. All eyes, build the revs, get ready to go racing here at Rudskogen. Green flag drops and we are racing. That's going to be a good start there for Gianni Lutsu. Already better for Zach Rattray White. Already some good positions being gained in the background. Bradley up. Rattray White going to be up against Fleming. Already looking to cut him off down in turn number 1. Robinson gets past Sully Khan a little bit in the background. Gianni's going to fly through. No incidents yet. Flag getting past his fellow American of Sean Gapinski. But now as they head through and through, looking towards those essays, going to go free abreast there momentarily as some of the drivers, but got to keep it square and ready. Now down in towards the hairpin. Is there going to be a move down the inside? I believe that is not Sean Rattray, right? That looks to be Christian Flagg who's going to go down the inside. Sully Khan's just ahead there. It's actually Robinson and Borowski who's going to go wheel to wheel, side by side. They're wheel to wheel. Going to continue here as they head through the left-hander. Christian Flagg and Sully Khan also there. Christian Flagg looking for the outside line. Now we'll get the inside line. Contact between the two. Christian Flagg is going to go around. They're going to get caught together. And that is going to put them right into the midst of it. That is not what you want. The front, the little nose at the front getting stuck in the chassis, and they are stuck together with iRacing netcode.
What an unfortunate accident to have there for Khan and Flag. I mean, just completely dragged across the circuit there. And it looks like they're still stuck together. I'm not too sure if they've gotten underway and back to racing here, but what an unfortunate incident. Thankfully, relatively clean across the rest of our grid. Lutsu got an absolutely insane launch off of the start of that, but unfortunately has been caught up to now. Fleming did lose a little bit there on the start launch. Rattray White did get a bit of an advantage there on the outside line and just managed to overcome the likes of Fleming as he tries to go get a little bit closer now, but the top three are definitely within the width to fight. It's nose to gearbox like we spoke about. Coming down into turn 1, will there be any diving opportunities? It doesn't look like it's standing all three nicely lined up in a row as if it was a school, and all of them trying to make their way and navigate around, but Lutsu will still hold that P1 position. Robertson slowly starting to fall off though from that top fight. Borowski trying to hold on to the back of Robinson, but all of them slowly starting to dissipate now in the top three, beginning to run away now with this race. With just 2 minutes in now, you can see the gap slowly but surely forming behind the likes of Thomas Fleming as he tries to keep behind the likes of Rattray White. He knows the two in front can fight, and he knows that they frequently try and take dives at each other. So Fleming, if he can remain patient, Jack, could potentially get double overtake opportunities if something goes wrong up ahead. So keep your eyes peeled on this top three fight, but there's fighting all around. Neil Handley currently under huge pressure down in 9th. There you can see it. Matthias Marin with Neil Handley just a little bit further behind. Zen Carr and Rodrigo Tostas, all four of them lined up behind Matthias Marin. This is the battle for 9th as they continue trying to take it down into the right-hander. They've gone through the S's, and Marin will have a lot of pressure behind him in his purple and pink Gradient V. Neil Handley just behind in the green Formula V. But let's go have a short replay now of that starting lap on board now with Sully Khan. This is obviously the incident with Christian Flagg. You can see him there on the inside line, and he literally got pulled back in there by what looks to be netcode, and just nothing that Solomon Khan can do. Completely stuck on the nose there is Christian Flagg, just being pulled as a passenger of transport. So super unfortunate, but for the rest of the grid, everything is looking clean.
Like a V became a train as the car jumps a little bit there for Zach Rattray White as he heads over the curve. The top three look to try and get away, but now Robinson and Borowski are slowly closing in on this, hopping the queue like it's for a morning coffee. And now Sully Khan going to get past Christian Flagg. They've got underway again, it seems, thankfully. So now Lachlan D. Robinson looking for the inside line as they head through the right-hander. But either way you look at it, we still got plenty of this race still to come. You don't want to go for everything in the early stages. Wait until the later stages and something may happen. You see the start-finish straight there for a moment. Everybody's got through turn number 1 nice and clean. So now as they head through the left-hander and into the right-hander, through this squiggly bits of Rudskogen, they are fighting like it's tooth and nail as Robinson has a bit of a blink for a moment, but he's back out there and he is fighting. Fleming is now chasing down. They're still on the back of Zach Rattray White, the man from the land down under, and they now continue throughout this circuit, still trying to fight for each other, because any position in this race does pick you up points. So you really have to choose what you want, because the championship is not over till it's over. You got the rest of the season still to come, but I'm sure these drivers would love some extra points earlier on in these opening races. Of course, a 12-round season, but 12-round season. We're on number 4. This is the first third race of the season as they head now down this straight, continuously hounding at the back of Zach Rattray-White is Fleming. So now, going to be looking for turn number 1, but Robinson looking for the left-hand side there for a moment. Maybe looks for the right-hand side. Fleming moves across to try and defend. He will keep that position and he will keep the space, but it's not going to cost him to Rattray as he couldn't keep it in the toe. He had to hop out the slip, and now they are vying for these positions like there's no tomorrow. So it looks like for a second with the camera work, Rattray was side by side. Zenkar's lost lots of positions there though, so what on earth has happened to him? Toasted gets the slowdown. There is a car round. That is turn number 1. We will look for a replay on that because something happened to the Lightning's 98, and that is not what you would have hoped for. You see him in the background there, but what happens here? Is it a curb touch? We've seen it happen to many drivers here in the past. Goes for turn number 1. Is there contact? Rear end slips out onto the curb, and round goes the Lightning V. That is a mistake which will cost them all the way down the order now in P number 19.
Well, that's the good old classic Formula V downshifting a little bit too fast coming into turn number 1, and unfortunately Zenkar is the first to make that mistake, just coming in and trying to reduce the speed and downshifting a bit too fast for the car's liking, and just like that, the rear end becomes your front axle. So unfortunate there for Zenkar, and like Alexa mentioned, these cars unfortunately do not spin left or right, they spin dead center where they are, so be sure to catch it, because if you're in the middle of the racing line, it does cause a little bit of chaos if somebody cannot avoid a spinning Formula V. But back up to the top now, Adrian Borowski has joined in on this fight. Lutzu still leads with a lot of confidence, but it is slowly starting to grow. Sean Gapinski is also starting to reduce that margin now between himself and Borowski, and will slowly start to join in on this fight. The battle might extend all the way down to 6th position now. We've also got lots of fighting down in 13th because Daniel Taylor is trying to fight onto the backside of Alex Bube Bradley, as well as Rodrigo Tostas and Michael Thiessen. So fighting all around for the time being, but all eyes stuck on our top 3 as things are getting a little bit dicey now. Rattray-White has chosen to take the inside line as well as Fleming. Will they get the double overtake? And for the time being, Lutzu has been completely shunted out wide as he gets forced out. Matthias Marin also gets the jump on Chris Lim up into 8th position. But Gianni Lutzu, coming down the right-handed down the hill, has lost out from Rattray-White and Fleming, and now under immense amount of pressure there from Robinson behind. So the pink Formula V, from a confident lead, has now been nudged a little bit further back into this fighting, and he will have to try and hug those gearboxes and make a diving opportunity. You can see looking a little bit for it there. He's getting a little bit too dicey with it, and the Formula V not having it, almost throwing him off the track over there as he starts to get a bit wobbly with that suspension, but manages to keep it all under control. Coming though towards the end of the lap now, about 20% left of driving for them before they hit the checkered flag. Lutzu, as you can see, trying everything to get a little bit closer to the backside of Fleming, but Robinson is not letting it go whatsoever. You can see how close it is. It's gearbox to nose action. Coming through though towards the closing of the lap, will we see any turn 1 dives? It looks like the line is remaining in formation. A couple of them looking for some opportunities. There comes Fleming. He's coming onto the inside line, decides to pull it back in as there's just not enough time nor distance to make that jump, and almost loses out there to Lutzu. Bube Bradley though is losing out with Daniel Taylor, who's holding off on the inside line. Tostas now onto the outside line. What can they do in this mid-pack fight? And Bube Bradley swings it around and manages to get himself back into the front side there. Taylor will lose 2 positions now, with Rodrigo Tostas jumping in all the way up. And unfortunately for Taylor, that's a double position loss. Bradley trying to hold the inside to not lose any more positions on the downhill, but who will carry that speed and momentum? My goodness, there is so much action up and down this grid. So many orange figures to show so much close racing.
Yeah, and this may be a surprise to you, Mr. Tristan, but this man, Thomas D. Fleming, is no stranger to being in these positions. 2025 Garage 59 McLaren 720S GT3 Evo in the GT World Cup European Sprint Cup, 6th in the season. Position 8th in the Garage 59 McLaren 720S. in the GT World Challenge European Endurance Cup, being in the Le Mans Cup results. He finished 21st in for Nielsen Racing in the LMP3s. In the LMGT3 for Ferrari 296 GT3, he would finish 7th in the complete European Le Mans Series. And then in the complete International GT Open, he would end up being 8th in the season with 2 wins under the belt for Garage 59. So this man who is making his way through, Thomas D. Fleming, is no stranger to what he has seen for what we are seeing tonight, hopping up the GT and LMP into the V. So is he going to be able to pick up another podium here in sim racing compared to IRL? But right now, Gianni Lutsu having to defend because Zach Rattray-White looking to go down the inside. We've had IndyCar drivers in this series. Now we've got LMP and GT drivers in this series. If there's any other reason to watch TGR Nation, I don't know what there is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great to see outside racing knowledge coming in. I mean, and yet another real-life driver taking the hone over here. And as you can see, doing incredibly well. He has unfortunately lost out to Robinson while you were having a bit of a chat there. And Robinson moves up into 3rd position. Now Lutsu reclaims 2nd place. And so Fleming loses out completely. Down into 4th he goes, but further behind, Christian Flagg still fighting onto the backside of Salih Khan, with Zen Carr now joining in on that 3-way fight after the two of them had a bit of an incident at the start of this race. They're trying to recover as much as they can. They've got still about 20 minutes or so left of racing, but it is a little bit difficult from this far back at the grid. They are currently practically lost in this race. Unfortunately, the only driver behind is Sartori, but further up, Visser trying to hold his standing. He's got Rob Wright in. He's unfortunately had a bit of a tap there with Rob Wright, and he's stuck
on
as
the suspension.
well.
Round they go. Almost.
What on earth is happening with our Formula Vs over here?
I thought he got caught in the suspension there. I thought he was about to get a slingshot through that corner. Let's have a look at the replay. A little bit of a tap on the rear end. Gets caught in the rear left suspension. Gets dragged along through the background. Turns in, spins it around, almost get launched across the grass is Martin Visser, but nope, ends up in the side of the car. That's going to be a clip. That's going to be a clip to go on their socials, I would say. But right now, it's Zach Rattray-White who leads, followed by Gianni Lutsu and Thomas Fleming. Of course, this TGR Nation Grand V Series is supported by Lutsu Driver Performance and Sambo iRacing. Be sure to check them out. It's great to see so many people supporting the series as they now head through these corners. It's less than a second all the way between that top 4. You can see P number 5 there. It's Zach Rattray-White leading with 4 astern.
4 astern indeed, and he's carrying quite a train over here, but he's trying to maintain that confidence posture. Unfortunately, he does have that pink rival covering the rear mirrors of his car as Lutsu honing in to try and retake P1. They do have Fleming now swapping yet again with the likes of Rattray-White. And where has Rattray-White gone? He's gone wide and looks like he's completely misjudged it. He's actually gotten a slowdown penalty, and that's why we've seen things being switched around, just taking a little bit too much track limit there and being told to slow the car down. Stanley also loses out a little bit, down to 19th he goes, but Gianni Lutsu now up into 1st place. Rattray-White down into 4th after his slowdown penalty. Let's go have a bit of a replay here as to what happened. This is Kirk Stanley after seeing him drop down the timing tower a little bit. And it looks like, coming into the next corner, and it looks like a little bit of a downshift action from my perspective, or it could have been a little bit of a braking and turning a little bit too aggressively in these Formula Vs, and unfortunately in this car, it does just shut you down nonetheless and turns you wide and lets you know, listen, I do not like the way you're handling me, do not do that again. And so unfortunately for Kirk Stanley, down to 19th he goes, but for the likes of Gianni Lutsu, still leading strong here at the forefront of this race.
Leading strong, but how long is it going to be for? We continue here at Rudskogen, and they now continue to fight all across that rear end. Is the man who is from the land of Great Britain, born in 2003, continuously hounding at the back of Gianni Lutsu, and now he's going to take an opportunity here, looking for it around the outside here, continuously hounding at the back of Gianni, but Gianni having a good defense there. Zach Rattray-White going to get past Robinson a little bit further back there down the inside. He gets the move done. He's trying to get back up into the positions which he lost due to that slowdown. He's now P number 4. He's now P number 3. He got past P number 4, and they continue around here. This is another battle which is happening further back. There's Daniel Taylor on the back of Rodrigo Tostes. So now they're going to be fighting throughout this field. Slow down for Taylor, actually. That's going to leave him at possibility as Fleming and Lutsu still battling up front. Looks to the outside line, ends up going deep. Going to be going over the curb, wheel to wheel, side by side. Is he going to get it here as he goes down the inside? Look at it go side by side. Gianni Lutsu now having to defend from Zach Rattray White. Down the mid, down this straight. It's going to be free abreast, and it's going to slow down harder and harder. Wheel to wheel, free abreast now down into the right-hander, but they're going to hold the lines. Lutsu is going to go for an up and under. He picks up one position, getting past Zach, but Zach's going to have none of it. Finds his way past Fleming. Robinson also does. They're going to go for a square here, and Zach Rattray White is going to be in the lead once again, and he takes it here at Rudskogen just over the halfway mark.
My goodness, so much fighting going on. I mean, we can even hear our producer in the background. He's enjoying all the action that's being presented over here, as there is so much. Oh, Lutsu tries to dive up onto the inside line and almost loses the rear end of his Formula V. There is so much fierce competition up in the top 5 over here, and everybody is trying to find their way around. Lutsu now again abreast with Fleming, who gets in front, and Robinson and Borowski are just trying to stay tagged along in this top 5 fight. There is action all across our grid, and I'm just seeing orange numbers all over the timings tower. But for the time being, this is where the main fighting is at, because our entire top 5 is all within a car's width of each other. Everybody trying to find their way around. There's a battle for 5th as well. Borowski and Gapinski just a little bit further behind. Sorry, that's Gapinski and the Gases, actually. That's the battle for 6th, as they are trying to catch up to this top 5 fight. You can see them just in the background, the white and yellow Formula V. But for the time being, this top 5 fight is the best you're going to get here at Rudskogen. The top 5 are proving their worth for speed. We've got one of the real-life drivers here, actually 2 of them, because Lutsu also does real-life driving. And so much action going on. Fleming dives yet again onto the inside line of Rattray White, trying to navigate that red Formula V around the reigning champion, and manages to slot in front of the number 17. The question is, can he hold it now? He's got the competition of Lutsu behind, and it almost looks like they're giving each other a little bit of a bump here. Lutsu trying to stay in that car's width of the likes of Rattray White, and he does have the inside line going into the next corner. Looks like he's going to hold it, with Fleming trying to lead this race, and all it's allowing for is for Robinson and Borowski to stay in this fight. Lutsu dives up yet again now, defending from Rattray White. And my goodness, there is just so much action happening back and forth between our top 5. And this is what we're probably going to be seeing for the next 15 minutes. Well past halfway mark now. Keep your eyes peeled, though, on this incredible top 5 fight.
Don't change that channel. You're watching live on Apex Racing TV. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications to keep up with the action, especially TGR Nation Grand V looking on the rear end now is Zach Rattray White continuously hounding at the back of Gianni Lutsu. Going to be going down in towards turn number 1. Is he going to be able to get a toe here? He looks to the inside line. Is he going to send it? He's done it before. He will do it again. Zach Rattray White goes into P number 2. Gianni Lutsu now going to look for an up and under, but Zach will cover that off like an absolute precision. Fleming, no man out of his position. He's out the GT3s and the LMPs, but he's now in a V and he's winning. Is he going to keep on with it? We'll wait and see, as here comes Bradley going on Rodrigo Tostes. Rodrigo will end up going deep, but just about keeping it within the white lines here at Rudskogen. Alex Boubert Bradley still in the 369, continuously handing at the back of his fellow V driver. Now going to be in the toe, in the slip, going to move to the left hand side, going to be wheel to wheel. He's got the fronts ahead. He's going to make a little bit of contact, maybe a bit of wheel banging. Now down in towards the braking zone. Is it going to be an up and under opportunity? He did it last season. Will he do it again? Goes to the left. He will move to the right, but he decides to not go for the move there. Wants to play it safe, wants to play it on time, and he will stay where he is for the time being. But you've also got Michael Feason, Daniel Taylor hounding all at the back, trying to make it through, and we are approaching the final 10 minutes here at Roots.
Absolutely incredible racing has been so far provided. Unfortunately, we do have one car that's left us with a bit of a DNF there, Rob Wright. I think after him and Visser had a little bit of a dance, out on track. He has decided to keep the car in and not come out of the pit lane, and super unfortunate there for Rob Wright, number 20, the 22nd driver here on the grid, but there's still so much action all around. Bube Bradley still in 13th, trying to fight behind the likes of Rodrigo Tostas and Thiessen and Taylor just a little bit further behind, trying to keep up with him and stay relevant in this fight. Christian Flagg is also trying, but back up to the top, things have changed yet again because Rattray White has taken the lead of this race. Fleming will sit second, and Lutsu now in third. Robinson and Borowski have just been spectators to this top 3 fight. They've stayed so close within the fighting action, but they haven't had the opportunity yet to leap and potentially try and take anything further. Lutsu decides to swing into the downhill right-hander and try and claim that inside line over Rattray White. It looks like it's going to work, but will it convert for the next corner? Rattray White takes a little bit too of a wide line there, grabs a little bit of gravel underneath that Formula V, but still managing to keep P1 from Gianni Lutsu. Fleming is also slowly getting closer and closer here. It's 51 versus 17 as they keep on pushing. It's pink versus white versus red, as Fleming still trying to hold on from behind, and yet again another switch from Lutsu, trying to find a way around this fight and find an advantage around the track here at Rudskogen, but being forced wide now by Rattray White, actually getting blocked off a little bit. Where is this going to go into the next corners? It is so unpredictable, knowing where these drivers are going to take it. Coming slowly towards the end of yet another lap, it looks like Gianni Lutsu contesting for it. Fleming once again onto the inside line, coming towards our final right-hander onto the back straight. Lutsu has lost out quite a lot, and Robertson's gotten into this fight now. It's now 2 wide on 2 rows of occasions, and it looks like Rattray White will be holding on strong here. Robinson pulls out right. There is so much action going on, and Lutsu looking to hold that inside line and manages to hold it, with Rattray White yet again contesting for P1.
Abreast there in the turn number 1, now going to go for astern, but it's now all to play for. We've seen this happen so many times after every single lap. It's hard to move away from these guys, but once again, Fleming looking for the inside line. Lutsu's right there with him. We're going to go into a triangle formation, wheel to wheel between the man from the land down under and the man from Great Britain. Fleming still leads this at lap number 14. We're getting closer and closer as these battles continue to happen, but Satori also with a slowdown there in the background. Christian Flagg is into the pit lane with a meatball. So what on earth has happened to him? Zach Rattray White still going to look for the outside, looks for the inside. These guys are fighting. I'm interested in what's happened to Flagg back there, but now down into the braking zone as Flagg is out of this race. We are still fighting and vying for these positions. Robinson on Lutsu, heading now through the right-hander and towards the main straight again. You continue and fight, looking as the puffs come out the gearboxes. This is racing at its absolute finest on Saturday night. Slow down there. This is what happened to Flagg on the replay. Is it on his own or is it contact down in towards the braking zone into the right-hander, going through the right-hand? Oh no, oh, touching the grass, getting caught, and massive crash into the barrier. Thankfully, this is sim racing and not real life, because you can only imagine what that would be IRL. Thankfully, it is sim racing. As they look for an up and under is Robinson, all to play for. No surprise there that Flagg is out of this race.
Yeah, so just before that replay, I mean, super unfortunate there for the likes of Christian Flagg. Just a bit of a grass tap, and that is exactly it. At least his car planted right by the maintenance car, which are easy lift off from the track. But while we were away in that replay, Rattray White did just get a slowdown penalty as we faded off of him, and so that's why we've seen him drop down to 4th now. There's more action in the back though. Bradley is losing out quite a lot of positions. Not too sure what happened to him coming into the next corner, but he's lost out from Khan, Taylor and Thiessen, as all of them have made their way past him. Carl will also get past him now as well. Let's have a little bit of a replay here and see what happened with Alex Bradley. This is on board with Michael Thiessen, just a little bit further behind. There's Bradley just in front, you can see. So did Bradley have a little bit of a squabble? There he goes off. So going left off the track there, looks like a little bit of a misjudgment there from Alex Bradley, and that's exactly how we lost over 4 positions, with Zenkar just claiming one on the downhill coming into the next right-hander. So super unfortunate there for Bradley. Hopefully he can recover it within the next 6 minutes. Robinson gets a slowdown now for exceeding track limits, And so that's going to drive him even further away. Borowski will now get up into 4th position, and there is still so much to play for. Fleming has pulled over an 8/10 gap now from P1 to P2 with Lutsu trying to trail behind. And there's quite a bit of a distance now between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Well over 5/10 between all 3 of them after Robinson's little bit of a penalty that he received over there. So everybody having a little bit of breathing room now within the next 5 minutes of racing. But it is all still to play for in this top 5. There is still so much time for them to fight it out with. Further down though, Sully Khan is trying to recover after that first lap or first couple of laps incidents, trying to pull now. It's going 3 wide into the next corner. Sully thankfully pulls his car in and realizes it's not going to work. Ruben Bradley trying to keep on pushing a little bit further on behind, and Thiessen and Taylor continuously swapping positions. This is going to have a little bit of an advantage though to Solomon Khan, as both in front continuously fighting. Where will Khan go? He's getting the slipstream now from Thiessen, and into the inside line he goes. It's 3 wide into the downhill right-hander. Khan will get both positions in one sweep. Can he keep ahead though in the banana blue Formula V as he keeps on trying to push around? Bube Bradley goes yet again wide coming into the right-hander, and unfortunately not able to get past Carr and back into that fight where he belongs before that little bit of a squabble that he had. But Khan has now pulled closer and trying to gain onto the backside of Tostas, as there we see Carr now switching around a bit. Taylor has lost out to Alex Bradley. A bit of a slowdown there as well for Kirk Stanley down in 18th, but the action is still indeed on for our top fighters.
A fight and they jostle with 4 minutes remaining. Lap number 17 now underway. Here comes Gianni Lutsu. Bradley gets past Taylor further back. Black flag for Satori. He will come in and serve that penalty. Into the left-hander now. It's Fleming who's going to defend it. Gianni did get ahead by just a margin. Very, very close between these two. Nose to tail. Nose to gearbox, I should say, as it's so exposed as you head around this track. This is the fight that we are watching. Fleming, Lutsu, Rattray White. They've been fighting this entire race and they're not going to give it up yet. Down the inside looking is Lutsu. He's tried the move many times before, but just getting covered off there by Fleming, who's doing an absolutely stellar job at defending here at Rudskogen. They're fighting and they're jostling, trying to look for any mistake that the other may make. Try and expose it. Try and utilize it to your own racing standard. Through the left-hander now, though, as they head in towards the brakes and are following each other through. It's squiggly and it's tight. It's hard to go side by side, yet they always seem to do it. It's a Brit who leads, followed by Lutsu, and then Rattray White P3.
Yeah, still so much swapping around, though. Rattray White still trying to hold on there in P3, but Robinson is still indeed in this fight. He has dropped off quite a lot. He has thankfully gotten past Borowski again after a bit of a slowdown penalty that he faced. But now with about 2.5 minutes left to go, the Vatican City driver, Gianni Lutsu, who had his fair share. And oh, what's happened there with Fleming? He's lost out a lot into the next corner. He's lost over 3 positions. Down into 4th place he goes. Slowdown penalty from what we are hearing. So unfortunate there for Fleming. He does make his way back up into P3, but he has lost that lead that he was carrying so strong for those past couple of laps. And Lutsu back into the top standing with Rattray White, the 2 competitors who have no small acquaintance between each other. Very good friends, but also very good rivals from the previous seasons and races are yet again fighting it out. Zen Carr, Alex Bradley, once again sideways with each other. Daniel Taylor just a little bit further behind with Thiessen leading that battle for 14th as they come across the line. Where is Zen Carr going to be? Currently holding off on that inside line with Daniel Taylor now leaping up to the inside. He carries that slipstream and looks like he might have enough to conquer it from Alex Bradley. He does get the jump on Zen Carr. Daniel Taylor will have a penalty though after not taking that corner cleanly enough, and so will lose out that drive from Zen Carr. Super unfortunate for him there, but Bradley will try and chase it around. There's changing though for the lead of this race as Rattray White is trying to get around Gianni Lutsu, and guess who is back in that top 1 fight? It is Fleming. After having a little bit of a penalty, he is back yet again to try and conquer and make sure he sits P1 on that podium. Cuts off completely now on Rattray White and well into the 2nd position. 1 minute left to go. Fleming will once again sit 2nd.
It all comes down to this. One more time around Rudskogen. They come around the final corner. They will look to the man with the flag. White flag about to fly here in round number 4. Lutsu leads, followed by Fleming, then Zach, Rattray White, Bradley getting past Feaston further back. Lutsu is going to be there, but Fleming is going to go for the move in P number 1. So is Zach Rattray White going to go free abreast in the turn number 1, going to hold off for the time being, going to go for a square there momentarily. It's going to be Fleming who's on the right hand side, getting very close between the top 2 with their tyres doing a little bit of touching, but they continue here. It's going to be a front row seat here for Borowski. Robinson's on Zach Rattray White. Rattray's on Lutsu. Lutsu's on Fleming, looking for the outside. Where did Zach Rattray White go? He tried the inside line. He was on the grass for a square through the hairpin. Fleming's still going to hold on to this lead. How's it going to fare? I feel like we're going to have a drag race to the line between these two, and they now head through the left-hander on towards the braking zone one more time. Going to hold it through the lines. Do not go too deep, and that will end your race in the position you are. Through the left again, holding it, defending the line is Thomas D. Fleming. Out the GTs and LMPs into the Vs. Can he pick up a victory tonight? Moves to the right-hander, looking for the outside line is Gianni again. He's going to have to cover off Zach Rattray White now, though, who's going to have the inside line. The drag race begins. Can they get it? Rattray going to get past Robinson. Through the left-hander, always throws you off a little bit when you see the massive building in the background, as that is a car off on the side. Who on earth is that? We'll get a replay with them at the end, but now through this right-hander, is he going to hold on to it, or did he go a little bit too deep? Lutsu is going to have the rear end slip, but he looks like he's done it. Well, from the GT and LMP into the V in sim racing, Thomas Fleming will win here at Rudskogen. Lutsu P2, Zach Rattray White P number 3, Sean Gopinski P number 7 there. But Robinson, Borowski, Degassis and Gopinski going to round out that moment, and that is how they will sit top 10 of Matthias Marin, still to make his way through. However, I will say this, biggest gainer here in this race, Scott Brooks, 5 positions up since their race start. They're the biggest gainer tonight, and they come P number 11, Tostes and Khan having that fight towards the end. Then Khan, P number 14, Feaston P15, Taylor, Stanley, Visser and Seratori is there as well. 3 DNFs, but this is the replay here, as I'll let you take this one, Tristan.
Yeah, there was so much action coming into that final lap, but this is what Rattray White tried to do. A little bit of an inside move there, but he did get blocked off by Fleming, and this is where he lost out as well from Robinson. And just being chucked onto the grass there, the right-hand side of the V, taking a little bit of greens in, and it does indeed slow the car down quite a lot, and that's exactly where he lost out on that position. Thankfully, able to recover it in that second last corner, coming towards the back straight, and did manage to squeeze into that final podium spot. But what a race it has been so far from Thomas D. Fleming, coming in here, like we mentioned, from some of the real-life series of LMP and GT3. This is a replay, though, with Alex Bradley, who we saw parked on the right-hand side of that curb when the race leaders came around. So fighting with Michael Thiessen. Was there a little bit of contact? Yes, indeed there was. And a little bit of a suspension hop there for Alex Bradley. And after that happened, looked like he was a little bit upset with that and just decided, you know what, that's it. I'm calling it for the day, and deciding to park the car. Thankfully, just off of the track limits extension over there, which some of the leaders were taking, and no contact was made. But what an amazing race it was over there. Once again, massive thank you to the Lutsu driver performance, as well as Sambo iRacing. But there's your results. Thomas D. Fleming will take P1 with Lutsu in second. Zach Rattray White will take third. Lachlan D. Robertson in fourth, with Borowski in fifth. Alan Degassis will take sixth, with fighting the entire race with Sean Gopinski in seventh. Chris Lim in eighth, with Neil Hadley in ninth. Matthias Marin loses out on that eighth, down to 10th. Scott Brooks will take 11th, with Rodrigo Tostes in 12th. Sally Khan will take 13th, with Zen Carr down in 14th. Michael Thiessen in 15th place. 16th for Daniel Taylor. 17th for Kirk Stanley. 18th for Martin Visser. And then the two final drivers to finish off, I believe. Unfortunately, nobody else actually finished off. There we are. We've got Dario Satori and Alex Bouvier Bradley. And then Christian Flagg and Rob Wright, who did not finish this race. But what an amazing race it was. And yet again, once a massive thank you to the sponsors, but great race nonetheless.
Indeed it was. I shall take Zach, and then I'll let you take Gianni here, Tristan. But Zach Rattray White, you are live on Apex Racing TV. We saw those fights, we saw those battles and that driving. Talk us through that race tonight.
Nah, I think the broadcast would have showed that was probably the most intense race I've this entire series, not just this one season. Out of all 3 of them so far.
Yeah, so talk us through it, especially that final lap, because it seems like you really tried to get that position down in towards the hairpin around about turn number 3. So you were right on the grass there. Talk us through what was going through the mindset on that final lap.
Man, I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest. I was just trying to survive. I mean, it looked like we were going to take each other out at several points during that race. So, I mean, just trying to place myself in the best spot to get the draft coming to the line. And, I mean, yeah, there was a car parked off the road, and it looked like we were going to absolutely T-bone the bloke. So, yeah, I had to back up a little bit, and kind of stuffed me there. But I mean, still a good result. I mean, I didn't close the gap in the points to Gianni at all. So I mean, we'll have to just take him out next round, I suppose.
Well, let's hope you don't take him out. Let's hope you can overtake him with the points. That was Boo Bear who was on the side of the road. But you said next round. Let's talk about next round. It is Virginia International Raceway South. Of course, we went there last season. Is there anything you're thinking of doing different this season, or thinking about the same? What's the plan going in? How much preparation is there going to be?
I think the thing I'll do differently this time is I'll probably bring a bucket because the track is disgusting. So yeah, there might be a couple vom bombs in there. But I mean, it's going to be the same there. Just a bit of a draft track still. That straight isn't very long in terms of things, but in this car, it's an absolute mile. So just it's going to be a bit of the same, to be honest. Couple dive bombs here and there, just stay in the draft.
Oh, fair enough. P3 tonight. Before we let you go, anybody else you would like to thank?
Yeah, just the rest of the crew there and the top 5, just trying not to take each other out. That was pretty good fun.
Well, fair enough. We shall let you go. Congratulations on the podium.
Cheers, boy.
And that was Zach Rattray. Right, P number 3 in that race. Tristan?
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
TV.
Hey guys, how you going?
Yeah, man. Yeah, good. Thanks to you, man. I mean, talk us through that action-packed race. I mean, we got word now from Zach that that was probably the most intense battle he's had the entire existence of TGR Nation Grand V. So, I mean, just talk us through, I mean, what was going on? Because, I mean, that was top 5 fighting from lap 1 to the final.
Yeah, for sure. Really, really good race tonight. Was really good to have Thomas back tonight. Obviously, he's been banned from the series since the beginning of the first round after a little incident that occurred, I think, at Lime Rock Park in early days. I think it might have even been last season, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was good to have him back on the grid. Always makes the battle at the front very interesting. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting race. Yeah, like you guys said, it was very, very full on, lots of toe-to-toe battling. But once again, I think it's always nice, you know, in particular with guys like Louis and Kieran a few weeks ago. It was nice to have a guy like, you know, guys like Lachlan and obviously and Tom doing the race with us to make the battle at the front a little bit more exciting. So yeah, didn't get the win tonight. I think Tom's motor was a little bit better than the rest of the fields. I don't know what he was doing differently to all of us, but yeah, clearly had some extra power in it tonight. So yeah, that was really, really good. Had a lot of fun, and yeah, took home a nice result.
Nice. So yeah, so you've spoken about a couple of the new guys, but I mean, how did the fighting go? Obviously, with your long existing rival of Zach Rattray White, we saw a load of position changes between the two of you. So how did all of that go for this race?
Yeah, it's always good racing against Zach. I think I've said it many times before. We always know how we race each other, and yeah, we always tend to keep it clean between each other as well, which is always an amazing thing to have with another driver, especially in these cars that you can race really, you know, close door to door with each other. So yeah, always a pleasure to race with Zach, and yeah, we always end up coming out on the other side without bending any wheels off the car or anything like that. So we do a good job of that. But yeah, it was nice to have Lachlan and Tom in on the fun tonight as well. It made it a little bit more interesting for sure.
And next week, round 5, we head to VIR South. It was obviously raced last season as well. How are you feeling about VIR South? And is there anything you're already thinking about doing differently compared to last season?
Yeah, I mean, I've already done a couple laps for obviously more my coaching stuff that I do with Let's Drive Performance. So yeah, got a little bit of an eye in already. Feels quite good in all honesty. Not really anything different in comparison to last season. Of course, the draft is going to be quite potent around there, as you mentioned. So it's going to be quite close racing once again. And if we do have, some more guests come in from our crew, it definitely will make it a little bit more close at the front, which is always good for viewers to watch for sure. Rather than just being one, two, or three cars just driving away in a straight line and pulling away from the rest of the field. So it'll make it quite good. But yeah, of course, like you said, it's going to be quite strong with draft. So just once again, about qualifying well, putting the car in a good position, and trying to not get caught up on wheels or anything like that, and not get not coded or anything like that, and you can tend to get a pretty good result. So that'll be the plan going into the next one.
Incredible stuff. Well, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Before you head off, is there anything you'd like to mention or anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, for sure. Big thank you, obviously, to you guys for holding the whole stream. It's always nice to be able to go back and watch it from a third person point of view. I think in the car, you think something might be going on, but when you watch it from the outside of it, you can see a lot more happening. So I'll be sure to do that later on. But big thank you, obviously, to Matthias and Sally for, of course, holding the whole event, and big thank you to them as well for allowing me to sponsor the series with my coaching brand, Let's Drive Performance. If anybody's ever interested in trying to improve in the car here in the Formula V or any other type of car on the iRacing service, if it be just sort of overall that time racecraft, please feel free to reach out and get involved through my website www.lutzudriveperformance.com and anywhere on social just with Gianni Lutzu. So good result again tonight, and looking forward to the next one next week. Hopefully we keep up a good roll of results.
Incredible stuff. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you next week at VR South.
Thank you, guys. Take it easy. Cheers.
Alrighty, so that was Mr. Gianni Lutzu, the second place finisher, and that has officially concluded tonight's racing.
Yeah, indeed it has. Let's go through this real quickly then. Your synopsis on tonight, Tristan.
Yeah, incredible race nonetheless. Now, I definitely agree with Zach Rattray's statement that this is some of the best racing we've seen. Obviously, we weren't really here too much for season number 1, but what I've seen from season number 2 and season number 3, this was one of the most insane fights I've seen in our top 5. It was constant action. It was clean racing where we didn't see anybody being taken out necessarily, especially in our top 5, and one of the more exciting top 5 fights that I've definitely seen, even across multiple series. I mean, the Formula Vs always pose such an amazing amount of entertainment. So great race here tonight, and excited to see what we can do next week at VIR South. Obviously, it's nothing new, and we've already seen that track in action, but hopefully a little bit more action compared to what we saw at Season 2.
Indeed it will, and I'm going to just copy what you just said and paste. And that is it for Rudskogen tonight. Hop in the planes, get the cars ready. We go across the Atlantic to Virginia. Same place, same time. You know where to find us. That is round number 5 coming your way next week. But for tonight at Rudskogen, in the north of Norway, I've been Alexa Marshall with Tristan Herbst. Our producer in the background bringing you all the camera shots tonight has been Aidan Howard. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.